Welcome to Daily Devo. I'm Pat. Today we're going to talk about freedom and Fridays. When I was in my later elementary years of school, I lived for Fridays. There was no other day of the week that screamed freedom like a Friday. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, what about Saturdays? It would seem Saturday that would be the obvious favorite day for someone who couldn't wait to escape from school. Well, Saturday night when I went to bed, I knew I had to get up for church. So all day Saturday, I was kind of dreading that. Hey, I'm just being honest about my little boy brain. You see, Friday was the one day of the week where we didn't have a bedtime. So when my alarm went off Friday mornings, I knew I had to endure some hours of school, and then I'd be sprung. Oh, and when that school bell went off to conclude the week of school, the memory still makes me smile. My sister and I would literally force ourselves to stay awake until at least midnight on Fridays because going to bed any earlier on that one night of freedom felt like we were wasting it. And then, when I would crawl under those blankets, I knew there was no alarm, no school, nothing that was going to force me awake before I wanted to. You might say on Fridays, I was a miniature little William Wallace crying, "Freedom!" Well, what does this have to do with the Bible? So in Romans chapter 8, Paul is talking about freedom, specifically in how it relates to our sinful nature. The context is that Paul is reminding us that anyone who has put their faith in Jesus has the Spirit of God, and with the Spirit of God came power. Power to what? In this case, power to no longer follow our sinful nature and to follow the Spirit. Let me read Romans 8, verse 2, and then I'm going to skip down to verse 4. Here it is. Through Christ Jesus, the law of the Spirit who gives life has set you free from the law of sin and death, in order that the righteous requirements of the law might be fully met in us who do not live according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. It's important to understand that in the Bible, the opposition of the flesh and spirit does not mean the opposition of the physical and the spiritual. Instead, the flesh represents the sin nature. And this is not just taken away when we accept Jesus. It remains. But the Spirit of God is now part of our life, which overcomes and lifts us above our old sinful nature. Maybe I illustrate it this way. Gravity is what makes my hands rest on this table. It's an unseen natural force that pushes down. But there's a stronger law at force called my life and will. And the stronger force allows me to overcome the gravity pushing down, and I'm able to lift my hand. The law of my life and will has freed me from the law of gravity. Similarly, the sinful nature is still in us, pushing us down like gravity, but now there's a stronger force, the Spirit of God, that lives within us and allows us to be lifted, to be freed from that sinful nature. That feeling of freedom that I had as a young boy on those Fridays is a fraction of the freedom that you and I can experience in Jesus. This freedom can and should lift you up. It should give you such hope. It should be life-changing for you. I guess what I'm saying is with God's Spirit in us, every day is like a Friday.